Okay, well, it's Monday, September 24th, and so we have a new week in our class on tools for digital communication. And these just go beyond some of the tools that you've learned about last week. So that's what we'll be learning about. We have readings, textbook chapter 4 and more, and there are some interesting readings about, making the flipped classroom. There's a survey of research for graduate students to read. What makes an instructional video compelling? And I think that's an important understanding. Before we go to record videos for our students, we need to understand how to make them compelling or interesting for our students to pay attention. It's hard enough for them to pay attention in face-to-face class, it seems like these days. But when you're not even present with them, how do you make it compelling for them? And then under presentations, you have a variety of different tools that you can learn about. You have an opportunity to learn about some of these new tools, more advanced tools, I would call them, for recording lessons. And one of these might be a good one for you if to record with. There's OBS Studio, which I created a video for, and it just is a nice open source and free tool for recording your screen on your computer and also your voice or a variety of other sources. And the Aberdeen School District actually has been using this a little bit for recording presentations. Panopto, which we have adopted at Northern State University, is another lecture capture, is what they call it, or screen capture recording type of a tool. And so there are a couple of how to record, how to edit, and Panopto sharing and permissions videos. And then getting started using Camtasia. Now, Camtasia you can look at only if it's something that your district has or something that you're interested in particularly. It's probably not as commonly used, and we don't have it at Northern. So you wouldn't be able to use it for your assignment anyway, but there's just an option to get to know Camtasia because it is a good tool to be aware of as a recording, again, an option to record presentations for students. So that's the presentations for this week. We also have happy hour Thursday, September 27th, 6 to 7 p.m. So that's this Thursday evening. Now this happy hour, I won't have any special presentations probably to make during that happy hour. So it's basically just online hours to, if you would like to come in and have a little conversation, have questions about the class or about anything else, I guess, you can come to that happy hour. There's a link here and you have to wait until the time in order for this link to be active and work. But I'll be in there, and if you have any questions or anything you'd like to talk about. I don't think I'll be recording this session simply because there won't be any specific subject matter, so you can just come and ask questions if you want to. And if you don't have any questions or can't attend, that's okay. You don't have to attend the happy hour, but I'm just there as a resource for you during that time. And then finally, under the discussion for this week, you're going to look at setting the tone. So pages 74 to 78 of the textbook, the author discusses the different roles that a teacher might play as they work with an online class. So including those roles, but discuss some of the roles that are mentioned and also tell how these roles differ from a face-to-face teaching when you're teaching online. How would it be different? How would guiding on the side be different, for instance, or group process facilitating be different, or advising or instructing and those types of roles? How would those be different from a face-to-face to an online situation? That's the discussion for this week. So let's see, a couple of reminders too. Don't forget that 2 items for the assignment that's due October 6th. Don't forget that you need to use 2 different tools to record your lessons. So you have a flipped classroom assignment. You're going to do 2 flipped lessons. That includes 2 recordings of your class and also 2 lesson plans for the class following. So don't forget to use more than one tool for that. So if you're going to choose, let's say, EduCreations for one of the lessons, then choose something else for the other one, maybe OBS Studio or Screencast-O-Matic or something like that. That way you get a larger variety of tools to choose from and learn about, and maybe you can make a more educated decision about which one would be best for you. And a reminder too, and something that should underlie all of these discussions that we have, and I think we talked about it in our discussion last week a little bit, was the importance of determining if students watched and paid attention to your video, right? I mean, creating the video is one thing, but actually determining if students watched and paid attention to it is a whole other thing. And so that can be done in a variety of different ways. A lot of teachers, when they come back to class, they'll build upon the students and they'll expect students to have learned and to have watched the videos. But how do you do that? How do you determine for sure if students watched and paid attention? And that's kind of a big question with flipping your classroom, right? Because if they're going to be watching a lot of videos, maybe they'll watch it but not pay attention, right? That can happen quite a bit in education. So just make sure you have a way for determining that, or think about ways that you can determine that students did in fact watch the video and did in fact pay attention to the things that they were supposed to get from the video. So it could be that you might plan in the lessons for the next day some type of a quiz. I mean, that could be a formal assessment. You could have them provide, you could do it less formally. You could have them provide a list of questions or ideas that they might have thought of, or thoughts that they might have had as they were watching. But yeah, it's important to know that they did indeed watch and pay attention to those presentations that you have recorded for them in order for flipped learning to really work. Well, I think that's all for this week, so good luck and get started.